Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to show off some news that was accidentally shown to us. This is on the JP version. They accidentally showed us this. If you were a captain of a knighthood and you went to go, basically you went here, you go to manage knighthood, you go to change settings, and you see this menu. This is what you saw on JP. As you can see here, there is 4 more constellations before you say you can move it. You can't move it. That's what you could see on JP. So there's 4 of them. Current speculation is that it's something to do with the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, which would make sense, having 4 Knights constellations as well. How you would obtain them, maybe a different way to constellation normally, the current constellations, because currently there's like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 players that are anywhere near like halfway done with Wrath, so I don't see the real point until people start to get to the point where they're going to be completing it soon, because NETMARBLE should know what's possible to complete and what isn't, because of course they got like, they test basically all content on fully maxed out accounts, or completely maxed out accounts, so they should know what the max GP points are, so they shouldn't have to worry about something like this. Unless, of course, this is just them showing you, oh, you know, you think you're close to finishing the game? Wow, here's like 4 more constellations, you know, whale more, sort of thing. Or they may add a new way to obtain it, which is completely possible. I'll get rid of that. It's completely possible they add a new way to obtain the constellation things. How they would do it, no idea. Once again, you know, character progression and account progression are sort of staled quite a bit. The last proper, I guess, character progression stuff we got, or character growth, whatever you want to call it, was the deer and bird relic upgrade, which in my opinion doesn't really count because not every character has access to it. For example, if I go to the new Demon King, well, I can't upgrade his relics, he doesn't have it, so what's the point? Where, for example, True Awakening, which was accessible for every character, is what character growth is. Character relic upgrades are just a buff on relics that they just want you to farm another content for that is extremely horrendous. But yeah, I would like to see some new character progression, preferably soon. Of course, this new constellation stuff, when could we see it? My guesstimate will probably be... Ooh, probably November, if I had to put a real guess on it. Solely because I feel like that's when we're going to get another 4 Knights Festival. Of course, who are we going to get? Probably a Tristan. I reckon a Tristan or Gawain. I doubt we would get another Percy, solely because we've already had 2 different versions of Percy. We've only got 1 version of Tristan. We've already got Lance, and we do not have a Gawain. Because I think Gawain's going to be more, probably the final one. She is quite strong, or maybe they'll do Tristan as the final one. I'm not really sure which would bring in the most hype. Technically, Gawain also would have 2 forms as well. I'm not sure how they would do that. What would that be if she walks in as buff Gawain, but she turns into like Lolly Merlin Gawain halfway through, or whatever it is? You know, it's up to them how they want to do half these things. But I do feel like if they are going to release a 4 Knights Constellations, it will be with a 4 Knights Festival. Realistically, in November, I feel like now is not really the time to do it, or September Festival, I don't think would really be the time to release 4 Knights, especially if it's not a 4 Knights Festival, because it doesn't fit the theme. If you are going to go with the theme, you want it to at least, you know, you want it to match the festival, or at least the character, to like match the hype. Oh, cool, we got Tristan, demon goddess form, and we got 4 new constellations of the 4 Knights. You know, that's cool, but that ain't gonna happen, realistically. They'll probably end up releasing it randomly, or, you know, through a collab like they did with Enduro, where they released it with the Evidence and Shadow collab, which I understand the characters were made for it, but it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't really seem right, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I just wanted to cover this new constellations. This is a little bit of progress on my constellation. I'm at 78% through Pride. Bear in mind, I've been playing this game for 5 years, so I've been playing for a long time, and I haven't even completed this yet. If you're a whale, it's probably quite easy, and I probably can complete it. I've got the characters to do so. It's just the resources, mainly the Super Awakening coins, which I think is going to be the problem for most players. Actually, I think is the problem for most players, even whales. It's sort of the point where, you know, you have to True Awaken every character. If you get them, you have to Super Awaken them. Even if you are going to 6-6 them, there's still 45 for Super Awakening. If you want to True Awaken them, it's still an additional 36. You know, even though you've got a character 6-6, it doesn't make the True Awakening any cheaper. You know, rare characters are still the same price, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe it just might be worth making... Well, what they might do is what they did initially, well, not initially, but a little while ago, where they buffed how many GP points you got for obtaining characters. They may actually buff it again to match the new 4 Knights thing. Well, they may actually buff every way to get GP points. For example, they may turn Normal Awakening, which would only give you 1 per star, to 2 per star. They may give it you know, for every Super Awakening, 5 per star, or you know, obtaining a new character is now 50, obtaining a relic is 15. You know, slight buffs, but if you're someone like myself, or I guess just a general player who's been playing for quite a while, you'll have a lot of these things. You may even have all the relics, you know, so you think you'll get an additional 5 GP points per relic in the game, which would actually be kind of big and actually a huge boost. But yeah, it's just something they could possibly do. They've done it in the past, and it doesn't stop them from doing it again, especially if they can add more constellations, because it does get to a point in the endgame content where, yes, you know, I've got 18 million box CC, but your constellation is a lot more impactful than your box CC because how much constellation truly gives. For example, if I just complete this constellation alone, I get 600 attack. That's nearly 3 weapons. That's nearly 3 fully maxed out UR weapons. I actually get more than 3 UR weapons worth of defense, and I get more than 3 UR headgears worth of HP. That's how crazy, that's how broken it is. You know, you could buy every cosmetic, but as long as I got the Constellation of Pride, I can somehow still beat you in CC. That's how crazy it is. And of course, you got all the substats and then the actual crystals themselves, which add additional stuff to it. And of course, if you want to see how many stats, you know, your actual stats you're getting, you can see that, like, it's crazy. 24,000 health. Bear in mind, this applies in geared as well. Sorry, ungeared. So, like, it's going to be huge when they add this new constellation. Whether they do release it as content that is obtainable currently through GP points, like it normally is, or they will add a new form of character growth, whether that be some sort of LR equipment, or a new type of relic, or some new form of way of getting this new account progression / character growth currency. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, let me know your comments in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.